Do you think the destruction or what has now happened to the Democrat Party was inevitable? Was there a moment that they could have stopped this? Had Biden maybe picked you instead of Kamala? Could that have done something to shift, even whether you would have accepted or not? But was there any correction that could have happened before they went off the deep end?
Sure. I think there were certainly a number of moments and kind of forks in the road where they could have chosen a different path to, for example, find ways to bring the country together rather than, the speech that President Biden gave in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
At Independence Hall. The moment was there. The setting was there. The opportunity was there for him to, I think he was maybe a year after he was sworn in, the opportunity was there to deliver a very unifying speech. This was in the lead up to the 2022 election.
Yeah.
And there was a small little sliver of hope that okay, if for no other reason than for purely political tactics,
right,
in winning more seats in Congress in this 2022 election, maybe this will be a moment he will actually try to bring the country together. And I talk about this in my book. He did the exact opposite.
It might be the most divisive speech I've ever heard in my life.
I completely agree. And that is probably one of the biggest, but one of many of those lost opportunities. And this was why when I withdrew from the presidential campaign, why I made that decision to endorse Joe Biden in the hopes that if he were elected president, at a minimum, I could be in a place and have an opportunity to provide some kind of influence to him, because I've known him for a long time, that I could provide some kind of influence to him to listen to his better angels, to be a more common sense minded leader, to be, the Uncle Joe that was able to bring people together around different issues, who could actually unite a heavily divided country. And unfortunately, at every step along the way from his inauguration going forward, he chose the path of darkness and divisiveness and hate.
The idea that they were at least selling with us was, oh, don't worry, he's going to be the bulwark against the crazies because he's been around forever. He's old. He's kind of an old school Democrat.
Yeah.
Now it seems very clear to me that the guy's not there. So do you think he even realizes fully what's going on here now? It may not matter. I
don't. Ultimately, the consequences are what matters most. I'm not there in the White House, but I refuse to absolve him of responsibility.
Yeah.
He is the president of the United States. He ran for president and he has made the decision to run for president again. And at different times, even in impromptu moments, he comes out and makes statements about his position. So while some of those statements don't make any sense at times, I will not absolve him of his responsibility because ultimately it is on him. And if he is ceding his authority to those around him to come up with policies and hand him note cards that tell him what to say and what to do and where to go and this and that, that's still on Joe Biden. And we as voters have to hold him responsible for that. Check out my book, For Love of Country, for sale right now at tulsigabbard.com. And you can also order the audiobook that I narrated on Audible.